We're going to cross now to Washington and speak to John McCain, the former Republican presidential candidate who sits now on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator McCain, thanks very much for joining us. Are you hearing tough words from America tonight?
Oh, I'm hearing a lot of rhetoric. So far, the only action to be taken is to boycott the preparatory meeting to take place of the G8. There's a lot of rhetoric, but I frankly don't see a lot of action.
What do you think should happen?
Oh, I think we should do a lot of things, beginning with a fundamental revamping of our policy towards Vladimir Putin. Our president has been incredibly naive in his dealings with them. He wanted the reset, the overheard conversation with him and Medvedev saying, tell Vladimir I'll be more flexible. The statements just in the last couple of days, this is not East-West, this is not Cold War. Vladimir Putin said the greatest disaster of the 20th century was the fall of the Soviet Union. He believes this is East-West, he believes that it's Cold War, and he believes that Crimea, and particularly Sevastopol, is essential to the near abroad, the old Russian Empire, which he continues to seek.
How do you respond then to Western powers who will rule out military engagement or indeed tough financial sanctions?
Well, I rule out military action. It's just not an option that would be viable, frankly. And this is the result of 5 years of naive relations with Russia, not the beginning of it. If the Europeans decide that the economic considerations are too important to impose severe sanctions on Vladimir Putin, which is you get from the statement by Angela Merkel today, then they are ignoring the lessons of history. If Vladimir Putin is allowed to take this Crimea because of protecting, quote, Russian population. Do you remember back in the 1930s when Hitler took Sudetenland and Czechoslovakia because of German population? And finally, could I say there are significant Russian populations in the Baltic countries, in Poland, in Romania. So we can't allow such a thing.
Except Russia will say at this point that the West stood by whilst a democratically elected government in Ukraine was overthrown, not even stood by, supported that coup.
I think that when you see what Yanukovych did with his dashas and with his corruption and his repression and killing of people, he forfeited all legitimacy in the eyes of anybody who has an objective view. They can say that pigs fly, but the fact is Yanukovych forfeited any claim he may have had to governing the country.
Tonight we saw documents from the UK government inadvertently that showed that they were not for now supporting trade sanctions or closing the financial centre to Russians. Is that the right approach?
Of course not. Of course not. But I am not astonished, to be very frank with you, disappointed, but not astonished. I think we can, here in the United States, enact an expanded Magnitsky bill, which targets people with sanctions and with penalties who are responsible. We can renew the missile defense systems that we abandoned in attempts to appease Putin in the Czech Republic and Poland. I think we can do a lot of things, if necessary, unilaterally.
Okay. Senator McCain, thank you very much indeed for your time, for joining us this evening.